Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about investing for the future in some industries that I believe have a ton of potential to explode over the next couple of years. We have a great video for everyone today. It won't be too long, but make sure to stick around to the end. Like I said, it'll be quick and to the point, but we do have a lot of great info to cover, so let's get right into it. So anyone can look at a stock chart and say, wow, this stock did great over the past year. And anyone can look back at past data, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that company will continue to do what it's done in the future for what it has done in the past, we can say. So, for example, we could look at a company like ExxonMobil. Someone might look at this and say, you know what, ExxonMobil had a great year. They went from, what did they go from? They went from like 45 or so all the way up to 65. And while that was awesome, and while oil prices did explode, that does not mean that ExxonMobil will continue to grow at this pace. You could also say that they reported a great dividend historically, and then that they've been a stable company for the past 20 years. You could say all these great things about them, but that doesn't mean that they're going to explode over the next 5 years, obviously. I think it's very important, especially while investing for the long term, to look at what the world might look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, maybe 20 years from now. Because if you're just investing into companies that did very well over the past 20 or 30 years, you might get screwed over. And because personally, when I look at ExxonMobil, I don't care if I can even get them under, I guess you could say $55. It's not a company I want to hold for the long term, because I'm seeing, I guess you could say, a shift in the world from traditional, I guess you could say, from the industry that ExxonMobil is in to other industries like solar, clean energy, and electric vehicles. So I think, long story short, it's important to notice how the world is changing and to invest where you believe the world will go over the next couple of years, and just invest in industries that you think will continue to grow exponentially in the future. In this video, I'm going to share a couple industries that I really like. Feel free to look into them more. Feel free to disagree with me, agree with me, whatever you want. But I'm just going to share industries that I believe will grow a lot. The first one being artificial intelligence. It's already basically everywhere, but I think that it is going to grow at a crazy, crazy pace over the next 5 to 10 years, and even over the next 2 years or so. Basically, everything uses artificial intelligence nowadays, and it's only going to get more advanced, in my opinion. So that's the first one. Basically, I'm going to share all the industries I like first, and then after we go through all the industries, I'm going to share some of the stocks I like within those industries. So the first one we said was artificial intelligence. The next one, of course, we have electric vehicles. That one's definitely a given. After that, we have sports betting. So, companies like DraftKings, I think, have a ton of growth potential. So sports betting, online sports betting, there's a lot of potential for growth given the legalization by the U.S., I guess you could say, by different states in the U.S. for online sports betting and online gambling. So I think that should be huge. The next one is the marijuana industry. While this industry has been, I guess you could say disappointing over the past couple of years, I still believe over the long term there is a lot of growth for that. After that, we have the solar industry. If you just look around you, just solar is really growing at a pretty rapid pace, and I think it definitely has a lot more market share to gain overall. After solar, I think I guess you could say esports industry has a ton of potential to grow. Certain companies are in a pretty good position, and I feel like just anything with esports has a lot of potential to grow. So that's definitely one of my favorites. And then even lately with metaverse hype, I feel like that's definitely something to keep in mind. I know certain companies like Roblox and Nvidia have been running up quite a bit lately off of some metaverse hype. So I think that's definitely also a good potential investment opportunity for the future. So just to recap, EVs, artificial intelligence, marijuana, sports betting, like online sports betting, esports /gaming, solar and metaverse are some of my favorite industries to where I will have exposure for the next couple of years. Feel free to copy these or disagree, whatever you want. I'm just sharing what I think the future will look like, and if I'm missing something, let me know in the comments down below, because I definitely can be missing something. And if you share a stock that looks pretty good, I might invest into it. So definitely let me know in the comments down below. But I believe these industries have a ton of potential for growth. And now I just want to run through certain stocks within each industry that I think has a lot of potential. For electric vehicles, of course, you have companies like Tesla and Ford and GM. I think look pretty good too. They're more of like the they don't have the hype that Tesla has, but I still think that they're in a pretty good position. Certain companies do have some potential, like Lucid, but they do have some things to prove to justify their valuation. So they're on my watch list, a company like Lucid, but it's not like an A+ setup for me, at least at this point in time. Shifting over to the artificial intelligence industry, companies like Google and Nvidia are in a great position, but I also really like companies like Palantir. They're kind of different, you can say, but they do have a lot of growth potential in my opinion. They are a growth stock, so expect them to be very, very volatile. With the next one, with marijuana, these stocks you have to be very careful with. A lot of these marijuana stocks are not in good financial positions. So for that reason, I just like an ETF for, I guess you could say, exposure to these companies. I've really been looking at MSOS. They are like a U.S. cannabis ETF. You could also shift into like an ETF like MJ if you wanted to, but I just wanted some U.S. exposure, so I went with MSOS. So keep that in mind. Sports betting, I love DraftKings. You guys know that. So DraftKings is one of my favorites. And then if you wanted an ETF with them, you can just go with BETZ. This is just like a sports betting ETF that has a bunch of different sports betting stocks in that. The next one, we have gaming, so like esports. I really like Corsair. I think they are an awesome company and that they will continue to do very well. I also really like companies like ATVI, which is Activision. We also have EA, Electronic Arts. This one got destroyed today, but yeah, I do like them for the long term. And TTWO is also pretty good, so feel free to take a look at these ones. LOGI isn't bad either. This one's Logitech. It's not bad. I've been considering buying this one as well, but feel free to keep that in mind. And then in terms of solar, I think the best way to go with solar is just an ETF. I really like the TAN ETF. And then certain stocks I like within that ETF. Enphase is pretty good, and then even RUN, which is Sunrun. And then last but not least, we have the metaverse hype. So for the metaverse, honestly, I just think META is the way to go. It's just an ETF holding a bunch of different stocks that have exposure to the metaverse, and you can look at companies like Roblox or Nvidia or even Facebook, which is now called Meta. So feel free to look at that. But these are like my favorite industries for the future. I also have my eyes, of course, on like decentralized finance and cryptos and all that stuff, but that's just a topic for a different video because I'm really only in Bitcoin and Ethereum. So but yeah, those are the industries that I believe have a ton of potential for growth. Let me know if I'm missing anything, because I would definitely, like, if you guys shared a good opportunity, I would definitely consider investing into it. But I hope you learned something from this video. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching.